In this video we are going to talk about 10 school trips that went horribly wrong. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Number 10. In the trunk for Walmart. Hunger can often lead to rash decisions that are difficult to justify. In 2014, Heather Cagle, a middle school teacher, decided to take 11 of her kids on a snack run to Walmart to satisfy their hunger. It appears that the instructor did not consult with their parents or take into consideration the danger she was putting them in before forcing her kids to load into a Honda Accord, with 2 in the front seat, 7 in the back seat, and 2 riding in the trunk. Cagle was later fired after her parents learned of the unapproved trip and the 2 extra pupils she had left behind at the school. The decision came after a hearing. Maybe she should just order a pizza the next time around instead? Number 9. Hiking Fall. Besides serving as the backdrop for the cult classic television show Twin Peaks, Mount Si is a popular hiking and field trip destination. In 2016, 2 teenagers were out hiking with their cross-country squad when the incident occurred. A student suffered significant head injuries when he and his friends separated from the main group and fell 90 feet down a mountainside. Rescue teams were able to recover the stranded student and fly him to a nearby hospital for medical treatment, and fortunately, the kid regained consciousness during the helicopter flight to the hospital to receive treatment. When it comes to what they learned that day, it was to stay on the main trail and to keep with the rest of the group. Number 8. Robbery in the red light district. The scariest thing that might happen on a physics field trip is that a kid achieves some type of scientific discovery, which is exactly what happened. However, while visiting the Swiss city of Geneva in 2005, 2 students made the decision to leave their hotel and investigate the nightlife options in the area. Over the course of the night, they became inebriated, and one student had his money stolen from him by a nightclub employee. After their bizarre experiment was discovered the following morning, Swiss authorities were notified, but they ultimately decided not to press charges. The children were returned home early from the trip as a result of their disobedience, and they were fortunate in that they did not suffer any additional consequences. Number 7. The Most Wanted Donald Vassar. In a hypothetical situation, would you consider it appropriate for you to chaperone an elementary school field trip if you were a fugitive with more than 20 charges under your belt for offenses such as burglary, harassment, and assaulting an officer? If you answered yes, it's possible that you're Donald Vassar. Despite the fact that he had been featured on the television show Washington's Most Wanted, Vassar decided to lend a hand on a field trip for his daughter's elementary school in 2011. Eventually, he was identified and denounced to the authorities, from whom he managed to flee after a brief scuffle. Vassar would turn himself in later that day, according to police. Despite the fact that he failed to remain anonymous, the person who conducted his background check is the largest failure in this case. Number 6. Preteen childbirth. In 2011, a 12-year-old girl from the Netherlands was on a school field trip when she began to have severe stomach pain, which she later reported. Her teachers raced to her aid and summoned an ambulance, after realizing that she was in fact in labor and needed immediate medical attention. The student ended up giving birth in a nearby building because there wasn't enough time to get the girl to the hospital before she was born. The baby was delivered healthily, and local social services workers were called in to care for the child and investigate how the pregnancy had come about in the first place. The baby was placed in foster care. Number 5. After-school exposure. Garrett Stark worked as a part-time staffer at the Summer Adventure Day Camp in Rogersville, Missouri, which is an after-school and summer program run by the Logan-Rogersville School District and serves children from kindergarten through 8th grade. Following a claim from 2 7-year-old children that he had shown them his genitalia on the bus ride home from a trip to the zoo, he was charged with sexual misconduct and child molestation in 2016. Before the events on the bus, one of the pupils said that a similar incident had taken place in his class. In subsequent years, Stark would concede that he had exposed himself on the bus, but he would maintain his innocence on the molestation claims. Following an investigation, Stark was taken into custody and later fired. Number 4. Hotel room sex tape. There are those grown-ups who are a touch too lax with the rules, and then there's Michael Clarkson, a teacher who follows the regulations to the letter. When Clarkson's kids went on a school vacation to Portugal in 2006, he permitted them to stay up past curfew and consume alcoholic beverages. Furthermore, when one of his male students returned to have sex with another woman, Clarkson graciously permitted them to stay in his hotel room while they were there. Over the course of the night, the student came to the realization that he was being secretly recorded. Following an examination of the videotape, It became evident that Clarkson was the one who orchestrated the situation. Following the discovery of the incident by school officials, a hearing was held, which resulted in Clarkson being fired and barred from teaching for a period of 4 years. Number 3. CSI, Fort Lauderdale. Have you ever fantasized about what it might be like to work on CSI or one of its numerous offshoot shows? In 2006, a summer criminology class at a Florida high school was given the opportunity to participate. Sue Messenger, their teacher, had put up a mimic crime scene in a park, complete with fake evidence and other props. One of the students, while looking around, observed a hand grasping a fence. After taking a closer look, the students recognized that the hand they were holding belonged to a real-life dead. After their teacher acknowledged that it was not a part of her lecture, the police were contacted to look into the incident. It was ultimately found that the guy died as a result of natural causes, and the students gained valuable personal experience at a real crime scene, albeit in an ironic manner. Number 2. Underground Railroad Reenactment. On a field trip to Nature's Classroom in Massachusetts in 2012, a 7th grade class from Hartford, Connecticut learned about the Underground Railroad by reenacting scenes from the historic televised documentary The Underground Railroad. During the field trip, kids were allegedly made to pretend to harvest cotton, pushed into a dark space as if they were on slave ships, forced to hide from the teachers, who were dressed as slave masters, and were allegedly referred to as racist insults by the instructors. Following the trip, the parents of an African-American youngster who had been invited to participate filed a formal complaint with the school board. The Nature's Classroom's director defended the exercise, but stated that improvements would be made to the curriculum in the coming months. Number 1. Brain at the Morgue. Several months after the death of fellow student Jesse Shipley in a vehicle accident, students from a Staten Island forensics club went on a field trip to a morgue to learn more about his death. During the visit, the pupils were shown jars containing the brains of persons who had passed away. They quickly realized that one of them had been labeled with the name of a recently departed classmate, which they took as a sign of disrespect. After it was determined that the brain belonged to the deceased student, the parents of the deceased student filed a lawsuit against the city, and the organ was returned to the family. They reburied it with their kid in order to bring closure to the situation and ensure that no youngster ever has to go on a field trip that goes as terribly as this one did. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.